Welcome to Ebioscope with me, Mary Kate Masilela. Today I'm excited for our interview. We'll be talking to Zuko Nodada, who's the director of Uncovered. It's a movie that was shot in Newcastle. It's an action thriller that will be released in July. I'm very excited about the cast itself. It's movie Lekumalo, Fesilumakaya, and Tenjiwe. Such a fan of Tenjiwe. I love her so much. She's quite funny. And yeah, he's going to be telling us about the movie and how the whole process of shooting it. He's actually on set right now shooting Imbewu, so I'm actually kind of like hijacking him, but it's also exciting because I like the backgrounds. He's actually on set on different sets of the show, and guys, I'm such a fan of the show. I love the show so much. #Imbewu rocks. It's a dope show. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Hey Zuko, thank you so much for being part of the show. I truly appreciate you taking the time for being part of the show and actually for us to talk about South African films at its best, and in this case we're talking about Uncovered. My first question for you, I want to talk about your love and interest for film. How did that come about? And
my love for film and storytelling in general, I think it started when I was young, man. In high school, I had a teacher by the name of Mr. Mvana, who was teaching literature, who was very passionate about storytelling and about writing in general, and that's the guy who encouraged me to start writing. And I started writing poetry and a few novels when I was in standard 8 at that time. I think it's grade 10, yes, grade 10. That is when I started writing. Even though I never really knew that I was going to end up in the film industry. Because when I was growing up in the former Transkei, we didn't really have what was called career guidance, and we were not exposed to a lot of things. But I was a good storyteller, and obviously I also grew up around that culture of storytelling around the fire, you know what I mean, because I spent a lot of years with my grandmother from my father's side. So when I passed matric and moved up to Johannesburg, my mind started opening up a little bit more. I took a gap year in 1996 and I didn't study. And in that year I spent a lot of time going to the SABC, meeting a lot of people there. I remember I met Pat Komafani when I was 17, and he was acting at that time. And Alf Munsu as well, who was producing a magazine show called Indwe, who also encouraged me to try this thing of storytelling because they realized that I was talented. And that is when I decided to go to drama school and study drama. At that time, I thought I was just going to be an actor. But when I got to Natal Technical, which is DUT now, that is when I realized that I liked directing some more, and I started directing on stage. And after I finished my diploma and moved to Johannesburg, that is when I just decided from the onset to pursue storytelling as a director, and that's when I got my first break. And the rest is history, man, and that's how this thing started.
Now, you're known for being a producer and a director. I want to know from you, which is your favorite hat? Do you like being a producer because it gives you more control, or do you like being a director because there's more creativity in that? Which hat do you prefer the most?
Directing and producing, which one do I like the most? I am a director at heart. That is easy. That is what I've always wanted to do, and that is what I'm doing. I am living my dream. When I started in the industry, I always knew that I wanted to be a director, and that is how I sold myself, and that is how I'm known. But producing, I had to produce in order to be able to direct my own feature films. Sometimes it is very difficult for people to trust you with their money if you've never done anything that they've seen before, if they're not sure that you can execute a vision. So I had to start producing so that I could be able to direct, feature films that would go to the cinema, that would tour the world, and that I would be known for as a director. When we did Between Friends in 2013, I sat down with my business partners and they said to me, look, we know that you're a very good director, but right now, we don't think that we are bankable because no one has seen you or seen your work as a feature film director. Let's raise funds, let's produce a film, and you will direct that film. And that is how it started. And I decided that then I need to create more work for myself and for my company. And that is why we then carried on and produced. And that is how I am producing. But I am a director at heart. So I'm able to split the two roles between myself and my partner Utande. Like for instance, with Uncovered, what we did is we worked on it together as producers. And when it was about time to go on set and do the work and get the work done, she focused on the producing side and I focused on the directing side. I didn't wear both hats because I didn't want to be distracted. So she took off the weight off my shoulders and she made sure that she does the producing work while I do the directing work. So yeah, between the two, I am a director. That's what I love.
About legends, it's important for us to always look back. Now, I want to know from you, who inspired you as a young man when you were looking on television back in the day? Who inspired you?
Inspiration, what inspired me? What inspired me, I grew up almost as a, I don't want to say I grew up alone, but my father was in Joburg and my mother was working somewhere else. So my uncle, Tatomncini, is the guy who inspired me. You know what I mean? It's the guy that I looked up to. He turned his life around. He came from Cape Town, didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and went to school, Mdala, and later on he became a teacher. In those days, a teacher and a policeman and a nurse, that's what we knew in the communities. But he turned his life around, and that's the guy who grew up as a father figure in my life, and that is the guy that inspired me. But obviously, in terms of actors at that time, there was Tatu Tim Kwebulana. I think the first drama I watched on a black and white TV had Tatu Tim Kwebulana, and obviously there was Oken Gambu, and there was Henry Cele at that time, So those are the guys that I grew up watching, and those are the guys that really, really inspired me. And there's another gentleman, the late Utatu Ben Nomoy, that's the guy also that inspired me. I used to see his name when the credits were rolling, even though I didn't understand what his role was, but I used to see his name.
Tell us about the concept. How did it come about? What initiated it?
Uncovered is a project that is very close to my heart for a number of reasons. After Between Friends, it was very difficult for me to figure out the best way to progress and basically to shoot my second movie. You'll find out that a lot of directors struggle to shoot their follow-up movie after they've shot their debut movie. So it was very challenging. But I remember one day, I think when it started, I attended the SAFTAs, and that year there was no Best Actress category because they felt that there were not enough there were no films that had women leads that warranted to be selected at that time as like for Best Actress. And that's when I decided that I need to write a film that has a woman as a hero, that has a woman as a lead. And that is when this idea started to come together, which was vague at that time, which was very vague. I don't want to say I'm political, but I'm that kind of a person that is aware of what is going on around him. what really helped Uncovered to be conceived was when I went to a mining indaba in Newcastle, invited by the Department of Tourism and Economic Development in KZN. And I spent 2 days there with black business people that wanted to get into mining or that were into mining already. And you know, the stories they told me inspired me to write this movie, Uncovered. And I remember one of them saying to me, it is very hard to be a black person wanting to buy a mine in South Africa, because there's a lot of information that is not disclosed to you. For instance, they'll give you all the paperwork that obviously shows you how much you will make, like the projections over a period of a year, but the running cost of the mines are always hidden from you. You wouldn't even know that you have to rehabilitate the environment where your mine is when it closes down, and you end up in a lot of debt. And sometimes it happens that you buy a mine that is literally unmineable, where you can't mine at all, because going deeper costs a lot of money. So there's just a lot of horror stories around these mines, and that is when I found a story. That is when I found a film that was inspiring to write. I had already decided that I wanted a film that has a woman as a lead, and it was easier for me to do that because now I found something that I was passionate about.
Casting. Oh my gosh. You have an exciting cast. Fesile Makanya, Tinjiwe, Nobile Kumalo, who's your lead. Can you tell us about your casting, how the whole process worked, and what were you looking for in the auditions to the time when you guys were on set? What did you want for your actors' performances to be like?
Casting for Uncovered was very interesting. My wife, who's also the producer of the movie, was the casting director for Uncovered. So what happened is that a few years ago, I think it was in 2013, towards the end of 2013, I did a show called Lokshin Lyric on SABC 1. And that is the first time I met Ununu Ngobile Kumalo. Still young, and I think she was on set for just one day. But she was one of those performers that are memorable, and I always knew from then onwards that one day I will work with her. But for many years I couldn't find a project that was suitable for both of us, and I think it kind of died down. And I forgot about her until my wife was casting again for another show that we're working on together. And when we saw her, we were about to shoot Uncovered. And I remember her coming to me and saying, look, I think we need to audition her for that role, for the lead. And yeah, we invited her to come and audition. She didn't come alone. She came with other accomplished actors, I think about 5. And we auditioned them, and obviously she came out strong, man. She is what we wanted, and yeah, we're happy with the decision that we made in casting her. With Ufezile and the other guys, there was no audition. When I write a script sometimes, like when I work with someone on the writing team, I always know who I want for the role. I called Robert Hobbs personally and I said to Robert, I would like you to be in this film. How can we make that possible? And Robert said to me, no, you should just ask me. I sent him the script. He came back to me and he said to me, I like it, I think we can work together. And that is how he got to be in the film. And Fezil as well, I always knew that one day I would work with him. And when I read the script for the first time and looked at the character of Heg, I just knew that this was the right project for both of us to work together. I've worked with Tumsani for years. We've been business partners. We've done stuff together. I know how versatile he is as a performer. And I've always wanted to challenge him. And I found a role as well that would challenge him and stretch him as a performer. But at the same time, I always knew that we also wanted to find new faces. We auditioned in Newcastle, and that is how we found some of the supporting roles in the film. I almost forgot Standiwe. Standiwe and I wanted to work together on another project that was 4 years ago, like before Uncovered, but we couldn't, and we shot together a drama series called Fallen for SABC3. And in that drama series, we kept saying we'll work together one day, until Uncovered came along. And it was a no-brainer, man. She's very good, she knows what she's doing. And I was like, okay, this is the right project for us to work together. And it happened. So when I cast, most of the time, I always know who I want to work with. If I'm not sure, then I will audition until I find what I'm looking for. With this, it was a mixture of both. It was me auditioning and calling people that I've always wanted to work with, that I knew would bring value to the project, and yeah, that's how it happened.
Can we talk about challenges of being an independent filmmaker in South Africa?
Being an independent filmmaker in South Africa is very challenging. It is the most hardest thing to do. That is why, to this day, I will forever respect someone who's shot a movie, because it is not easy. It seems like everything is just working against you. But I mean, one of the biggest challenges is what we know. It is the money. It is the budgets. It is difficult for independent filmmakers to get decent budgets to do the work that they want to do. So you always have to ask for favors, and people get tired of working for close to nothing, or sometimes even for free, working overtimes, trying to help you as an independent filmmaker. But we do what we gotta do. But I think as well, the onus is on us to just try sometimes and not complain a lot, and do stuff what we don't want to do. Do stuff that we don't want to do. I'm not going to lie to you, before my first movie, I'm one of the few people that was complaining about the institutions that are funding and the injustices and how they don't want to give us money, until I applied. And when I applied, I actually got the money. So sometimes it's just a matter of us grabbing those forms, filling them in, as much as it is hard. Ziwumdanti nje, ziningi, zigcwele, ziyanqenyisa, but sometimes you just need to do that. And if you have the right project, I guess then no one has an excuse of not giving you the money. But yeah, the biggest challenge is the money. Sometimes you must just find a small project. So before I started directing, I was struggling to break in. So what I did is I raised money on my own. Like, I would put aside maybe a 500 rand a month, and together with my friends, then we put together that money. And one of my friends, who's a script writer, wrote a script for me, and I gathered a few friends of mine with the little budget that I had, and we shot a film. And that is why I could now, or that is how I could now shop around for work, because I already had a movie that I committed to, and I shot out of my own pocket, which is not an easy thing to do. That's commitment on its own. But yeah, the biggest challenge is getting the money.
Let's talk about your stunts. On your trailer, the stunts are looking very, very good and quite impressive. Did you guys have any stunt training, and how did you guys plan to execute those stunts on set?
when our line producer read the script, he said to me, "This script is very expensive in terms of stunts," and obviously there was a worrying factor for me. But because I have been in the game for a long time, I started thinking about people that can come on board and fully help this film. And Tobile Mahlangu, with his father, Dr. Mahlangu of Go Big, came to mind, and I called him. We had a meeting. I gave him the script. He read the script. We discussed the scenes. He gave me his quotation, and he was happy, and I was happy. And that is when we decided to work together on this film. I also brought in Henry Madini, who had worked with Utandega, the producer, before, to sort of come and coordinate our stunts and choreograph our stunts as well. So I had 3 people that knew what they were doing, which means that the safety measures were met, which meant that we wouldn't have any safety issues on set and no one would really get injured. The actors at some point did their own stunts. I mean, the fighting sequences, Robert Hobbs would take lead in those, and he's a very passionate performer, so he didn't mind diving in there and giving suggestions as well. I remember there's a scene we shot in the kitchen with her and Nobila Kumar. Damn, that scene looks so scary and real. And it's because both of them were like, okay, we're gonna do this. With the help of these guys, Dr. Mahlangu and Henry, and then it became easy. I remember Nuno running on the roof and sliding down the pole. I was also skeptical. I was like, no, I don't think you should do that. But she was keen. She wanted to do it, even though I would let him maybe do that halfway through. We had stunt doubles for more dangerous situations, and Dr. Mahlangu would bring those stunt doubles, especially for Non and Dumisani. But yeah, the actors were committed, and where it was safe, they did their own stunts.
Let's talk about locations. As we know that you guys shot in Newcastle, how is the community receiving you guys? How is the response on them seeing a full set there?
So after the film in Indaba in Newcastle, we started writing the script. We finished the script, and something kept saying to me, you need to go back to Newcastle and see what you can find there. There was Richards Bay on the cards, and unfortunately when we went to Richards Bay, we realized that we were not going to get a lot of support, number one from the community and number two from the municipality. What went with Newcastle was the reception we received from the municipality itself. We met Mr. Nzimande, who was very helpful and who was willing to go out of his way and find and get us every location that we wanted in Newcastle. What worked with Newcastle as well was the fact that they've got a lot of coal mines, and obviously we're telling a coal story, and it was easy to make that decision now and say, okay, let us be stationed in Newcastle. And when we saw the communities, how suffering they were because of these mines, the illegal coal miners and the labs that we wanted to use, we saw that this was a nice place for us to be stationed at. And actually the excitement that the community showed towards us and towards the movie was also very encouraging. And that is why we were like, okay, we will make this our home for the next 4 weeks. So yeah, we went to Newcastle, looked for locations and found them. And I'm not going to lie to you, we didn't even pay for half the locations. I remember when we went to Newcastle for the first time, Mr. Nzimande said to us, okay, you can use the entire building. That was the municipal building. That is the municipal building I'm talking about. You can use the entire building, give us your schedule, give us your dates. We're not going to bill you for it. As long as you credit Newcastle and as long as you showcase what we have here, man, and you give our people work. And that is what we did. We gave Newcastle people work as well. We had interns, about 50. We had All the extras and the minor roles were taken from Newcastle, some supporting roles from Newcastle. So it was sort of a give and take situation that worked for both the production and for the community of Newcastle.
I want to know, for Uncovered in the future, are you guys looking forward to taking advantage of a digital streaming platform? Is that what you want for the movie? And is there any opportunity in that?
We do have a sales agent based in Johannesburg, AAA. They've been taking South African films to the world, and it is part of their plan to take this movie to those platforms, especially Netflix. I think they are one of the aggregators there with Netflix. So yeah, we might see Uncovered, if all goes well, in those platforms. Right now they're in France, in Cannes, and those are the options they are looking at in making sure that this film has legs, is seen by the people and is seen in these platforms. So we'll see, man. You can only hope. You will never know. You can only hope. But yeah, man, I think we did a good product, and I think there is an opportunity for it to travel all over the world. With regards to opportunity for young upcoming filmmakers, I think what we need to focus on is to do good work that will be in demand. And I think, yeah, if we keep doing that, we will break in, man. We will break in. We can't just knock and knock and knock and nothing happens. At some point, something's got to give. And I think it is the right time now, especially with some of the South African movies having made it in these platforms. I think we need to take advantage of that. And I think we do have an opportunity.
Let's talk about film festivals. What kind of film festivals have you guys attended, and how was the response? And are you guys interested in working or doing an international collaboration with any other filmmakers you guys have met?
I think that's coming. I'm working with a Nigerian producer, Ike, because I think that's what sometimes we ignore. African connections and the power of working with African producers and breaking in our African countries, forcing African audiences to see our work as South Africans. I'm working with a Nigerian producer. He's coming down to DIF, and I think that will be the best collaboration that we'll ever do. I'm also working with a producer from LA. His name is Derek Hubbard. I have his script, and if all goes well, I might direct that movie with him. But we're working together. We've been working together for 3 years now. He's the guy who helped us with audiences when we went to America to the Pan-African Film Festival. So yeah, man, there are opportunities. And yeah, I think once we start rolling it out, you will see.
Let's talk about the big day. What are your expectations for Uncovered?
With our expectations in terms of release, it's a hard one, man. We decided to self-distribute. There's no middleman. We're just doing it ourselves. We went straight to the exhibitors, Stekinekwa and New Metro, and we said to them, guys, here's a product, and they looked at it and they loved it. The excitement they have make us believe that the reception will be great when it comes to our audiences. They've given us about 23 screens, and the support we're getting, man, from Stekinekwa, you would believe that they are our distributor. You know what I mean? There's nothing that we want that they're not supplying us with. So yeah, I think we're coming, and I think that the path we've decided to take, as much as it is challenging, is the best path. And I think we're in a very good space. What we've started doing as well is we've started going to interviews. We have a media preview soon. We have another media preview in Durban, so we'll have two. We've got 2 premieres before the release of the movie, and I think that will create the hype and the excitement. And fortunately for us, the people that we went to school with are drama teachers, most of them. So already we've started mobilizing, and I think that will help us, to create the hype that we need. We're doing a lot more work with the Film Commission and with economic development, Mr. Tamizondi and Mr. Simphiwe Ngcobo. We're just doing a lot of work with them, groundwork with them, so that by the time we release, we make sure that we're in a good space.
Thank you so much to Zuko Nodada for giving us an insight on his film Uncovered, which will be coming out in July. I hope you guys will be running into the cinema to go out and support South African films. That's the only way for the film industry to grow. Besides that, tell me what you think about the film interview down below on the comment section. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week, guys. Hey guys, I forgot to say that down below on the description I will link the trailer for Uncovered, just in case you guys want to go and watch the trailer. And yeah, of course, enjoy your weekend, and see you next time. Bye.